everybody, thanks for joining me, Dr. Ross Marcagiani at Turnpaugh Health and Wellness Center with another great word of the week. Today's word of the week is going to be pollen. We're getting to that time of the year where everything is budding and flowering, and a lot of people are having issues with pollen. And so today we're going to be talking about allergen versus sensitivity. We'll be talking about what happens when we're exposed to those pollens, and then how we can address the symptoms from a more natural standpoint, and how we can modulate and regulate that immune system so that we're not as sensitive to these pollens. So let's dive in. So first, I just want to provide a little bit of information that this is going to be helpful not only to pollen, reacting to the pollens and all the plants that are flowering right now, but this is also going to be helpful and useful for immune balance and immune modulation as we're starting to get back out into daily living in the next couple weeks to a month here, getting back to the societal norms. We're still going to want to make sure that we are prepared and that we are making sure we're building our immunity and we're building good health, and we are prepared rather than reactionary to possible pathogens that are out there. So just really the big thing is our best offense is a good defense, and preparing the immune system and modulating the immune system. So that's what this video will help as well. But the main purpose is going to be to talk about and addressing the sensitivities or the reactions to the pollen that a lot of people are experiencing. So what's the big difference between an allergen and a sensitivity? So an allergen is a true IgE response. So an IgE is an immunoglobulin, and that's produced by the immune system. And then you can have an IgG or IgA reactions to a sensitivity or intolerance, which can stimulate somewhat similar symptoms. So the symptoms can cross-react. So we still can get the restriction or the constriction in airways. We can still get the skin sensitivities. We can still get the runny nose. But here's just a helpful chart to kind of help you differentiate what's considered standard differences between an allergen or a sensitivity, or also known as intolerance. So what happens when we're exposed to these pollens? Okay, so just be aware again. Now, it doesn't have to be necessarily a pollen that stimulates this process. It can be a bacteria, it can be a virus, it can be a mold, it can be the food we eat. So just be aware it's not just pollens that stimulate this reaction, but again, for the purpose of this video, we're going to address it specifically to that. So in the left side here in diagram A, we have some type of allergen that gets exposed to the epithelium, the skin tissue. And then basically, as you can see here, this diagram can get confusing, but a series of steps happens. The big thing that happens is we create inflammation from this allergen skin reaction, and we stimulate something called the Th2 side of the immune system. So the Th2 side of the immune system is going to start producing through a series of what's called cytokines. Think of this as these are little alarms that help to keep stimulating this Th2 side of the immune system. And what happens is we produce B cells, and then those B cells will start producing something called an IgE immunoglobulin, like we talked about earlier. Now, what will happen on the right-hand side, the allergen gets exposed again. Basically, the same process happens again on the left-hand side, again with this subsequent exposure, and we start producing mast cells. So these mast cells bind to that IgE immunoglobulin, and it releases histamine. Histamine is what's going to make the hives, the itching, the runny nose, and that's the process that takes place. And a lot of the over-the-counter allergen medications, such as our Claritin or Allegra, they focus on this release of histamine. So they focus basically on the very end aspect of this Th2 upregulation. And what we want to do here is we want to, I want to make sure we try to address the start of the Th2 response. So we want to try to downregulate that Th2 response, which creates a lot of this IgE allergic-like reactions, and we want to stimulate the Th1 side. Now they are basically they basically are contradict each other. So as we increase Th1, we'll notice we can dampen Th2, and vice versa. If Th2 is really elevated, that Th1 side is going to be dampened. So Th2, think allergen response. Th1, think almost like an anti-allergen response. So we want to downregulate the Th2 side, stimulate a little bit more of the Th1 side with moderation here. So how do we do that? So I provided a little bit of research here for you, just that there's some validity and there's research behind what we're doing. So the first one being the use of quercetin. So you can see here under the highlights, quercetin has helped to improve the Th1, Th2 balance and help to reduce those IgE antibodies that bind to the mast cell to release all of that histamine, the hives and itching. And also, it's been shown to help downregulate some of those cytokines, those alarms that keep the immune system or that keep the signaling of the Th2 side going. So that's really helpful there. Next, we looked at the use of periliseed. So periliseed has been shown to significantly suppress that Th2 side of the immune system, which is really helpful in what we want with these symptoms. Next, we talked about stinging nettle. Stinging nettle helps to reduce something called NF-kappa B. That's another inflammatory marker that, again, will stimulate that Th2 side of the immune system. Lastly, we're going to talk about the use of berberine. Berberine will help to downregulate some of those cytokines. Again, you can see it'll help downregulate NF-kappa B, and then some other markers here, and it helps to inhibit or decrease the stimulation of Th17. When you hear Th17, think Th2. So those are some really effective supplements that we can use. So just to sum it back up again, we can use quercetin. Again, these are just recommendations upon what I've seen to be successful for myself and some of my patients. So quercetin, 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day. Periliseed, anywhere from 300 to 500 milligrams per day. Stinging nettle, about half to a gram per day. Berberine, about 1 to 3 grams per day. And then there's also been some effective use in the use of NAC and astragalus for modulating that Th2 response and help picking up that Th1's response. I appreciate you watching. If there's anyone that can benefit from this information, please share this information. And don't forget to subscribe to Turnpaugh Health and Wellness YouTube page. And if you have any questions or you want to make sure your immune system is responding appropriately, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll get some blood work done, analyze, and make sure that the immune system is working optimally. Thanks for your time and have a great day.